So I'm sorry to disappoint everybody, but if I was on before, I might have stood a chance, but never mind.
You'll be wonderful, Rob. So I'm going to hand over to you.
Smashing, right. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen over now and just pop some stuff on. So just for the benefit of everybody, I'm going to take you through some of the work that we've been doing across NCG. I've got a Microsoft form that I just popped into the chat. You can either use the QR code or you can use the link to the form, either way, just to get a little bit of background as we go through the demonstration. So for those of you who or do or don't know, just refresh it. So NCG are a group of 7 colleges up and around the UK. I'm based in Newcastle, as you've probably gathered from the slight Geordie twang that's in my voice. And I've been in education for 13 years now. I'm a teacher by trade and sort of now head up the learning technology and digital learning for NCG. So that's me. You can see he's on the screen. So I am real and everything. And the reason why I do the job that I do now is because, as I said on there, I want to develop and innovate and effective digital learning solutions across the board. So the VR stuff and the AR that we were talking about earlier on is kind of right up my street in that respect. But what I want to be able to do is sort of introduce a lot of our staff into using some of the resources that we've already got. And I know Beverly and I know Tammy are on the call as well. And we started using the likes of ClickView, and we started using the Blended Learning Consortium, obviously through Amy. And we were able to send those links out and say, right, these are great resources, go off and use them. And some staff were picking them up and using them in great ways. But as something called COVID made an appearance in our lives 2 years ago, we made a big decision to move over into Microsoft Teams as our learning environment across all of the 7 colleges. And that's enabled us now to sort of build ways of storing and making the resources a lot more accessible to our staff. Staff and teaching staff don't have a huge amount of time to do development work. They're either marking, teaching, covering, and doing a research and doing a vast amount of other things across the board. My role is to make that easier and make that technology a lot more accessible to them. So I'm just going to go through 4 points that are on there, 3 really. And now we're down to 2 because I've already done the introduction bit. So create Microsoft SharePoint pages to display videos using Microsoft Stream, but also add in Wakelet in Teams to display ClickView videos. So the 2 things that we've been using over the last sort of 2.5 years. So I've just mentioned that before. I used the slides that Microsoft has sort of provided us in that respect, and using the glue, and we've used Teams as the glue to be able to add all of these resources together and make them very accessible to our staff, albeit at the touch of a button, which makes them more engaged in the process. The students get a much better learning experience, and they're more engaged in their learning across the board, which really is what we're in this gig for anyway. So what are the examples that we used? And a lot of you will be aware, I appreciate, of the College Collaboration Fund. So the College Collaboration Fund, if you don't know, has a vast array of videos, resources that have been created from colleges that have collaborated together and shared those amongst everybody else. So I could have sent those links out to the staff. Like I said before, they're too busy. Though some of them will pick it up and some of them won't, and half will use and half won't. But I wanted to be able to sort of sort those out into one place and put them in somewhere for them to review. And if they wanted access to them, we already had them stored. So Stream was the answer. So we downloaded the videos that were provided by the Heart of Worcester College. You'll see a couple of those in a moment, and stored them in a central place, which to me was great. It looked great. I could access it, but I still wasn't going to get the staff engaged in that. So what we did was we created a SharePoint page. So in that SharePoint page, it made it look a lot more aesthetically pleasing, a bit more exciting, a bit more engaging. And staff would then see that as, oh, that looks a little bit like YouTube, and everybody tends to sort of disappear off into, even if you need to change, I don't know, the tap in the bathroom, what a great example that is. We'll say the tap in the bathroom, you'll go on, you'll find a 5-minute video of a plumber changing the tap, and you just head off in that direction. But we didn't want them because we're buying specific resources. There's a danger with the YouTube side of it because students could see video or adverts that really don't have any appeal within an educational environment. So we try and move away from those, and we wanted to sort of pipe it down this way. So we got it. So champion. That's what we've got. That's what it looks like. But we still weren't convinced because that's a SharePoint page. So all it's done is put them in a couple of lines, and that's it. So going back to the bit they originally said at the start, we made that big decision of moving over onto Microsoft Teams. And within Teams, you can store your SharePoint page. So what we did was we brought that SharePoint page in. And now we have a single version of the truth, which we can then share across all of the 7 colleges. Staff can go in, and I would appreciate these as screenshots. And if we've got time, I can show you a bit of a live demonstration of it. But these are all the stream videos that have been embedded within the SharePoint page and are then accessible to the staff, and they can have a look at these. If they wanted access to them, they can contact us directly. We can point them off in the direction of the URL to download, or the actual file where we stored all of the videos that we've got access to, because we've got these and other ones as well. So just to recap on that one, we've got the learning resources that we need to use and we want to use. We then needed to try and get those out across the colleges, not just to 1, but to 7, covering all multiple provision types and curriculum areas. We wanted to put it in a central place that looked quite familiar. Everybody goes back to that familiar sort of area, and it's like a comfort blanket. You think, yeah, I'm all right here. I can't cause any problems. And then, but we wanted to display it in such a way that it was under the same roof as everything else that we've been doing, whether it be chat, whether it be teaching or anything. And having that as a central place, we can import that link, that SharePoint URL, and embed that in there. We can share that across multiple team sites. It doesn't even have to be one central one. If all of the sports ones are created in that page, we'd be able to just provide that to sport in Lewisham, Southwark, Newcastle, Carlisle. We'll be able to say, right, there you go, there's all your videos. And then they can just get them to refer back to them. So it's a better way of sharing that information. Excuse me. But do students have access to SharePoint? Sorry, I beg your pardon. Try to talk and click a mouse at the same time, it makes us cough. Do students have to access SharePoint, or is just for staff? The students will access it via Teams, so they access SharePoint. Our students have access across the board to the Microsoft 365 suite, so they'll just click in, but they won't have to load in SharePoint separately. So I hope that answers the questions. I do have access to SharePoint, but not the staff internet site. We've got the SharePoint, right? Got you that one. I can see that one there as well after today. Sorry, jump on the questions as well. So if there's any questions as we're going through, please just pop them in the chat and I'll answer them as and when I can. So that's the first part. So, but to sort of branch out with technology, and as luck would have it, we've got this ClickView been on here as well. Not that that was planned at all by any stretch, but we also have access to ClickView. And I'm obviously going to say that it's a great resource because we purchased it, and we're embedding that again through the 7 colleges that we're part of. But yes, we could go down the SharePoint route. We could add those in, but we wanted some colleagues have been using other technology and technology on the outside of the college. So we've worked closely with ClickView. We've had access to certainly GCSE mathematics foundation tier sort of playlists, and I wanted again try to get those out into all of the maths and English departments across the board. So rather than me trying to send links out to individuals which disappear within team sites, team chats, emails, and the various things, we wanted to be able to sort of again put that in a centralized place, but something a little bit different. So ClickView was the resource. That's where we started. From there, we then created a Wakelet. So I don't know if anybody's used it. That's why I sent the format a little bit earlier, just to get some feedback. So I've got a Wakelet account, which you can see is sort of specific, get my words out, to work. And I've built multiple Wakelets that are in there, so lists of links, of resources, but it meant that we could interact with that and you could add more to it depending on what research you were asking your students to do. So what we've done is what we did in order to get specific sort of targeted videos out to the students in order to help them was build the Wakelet, and we get the staff to do that. But the beauty of that is that it goes back to right at the beginning when I started talking on, is that we use team, is that overarching sort of learning environment that we want to use. The beauty is that I could bring a Wakelet into Teams, so I could then have that as a centralized resource. Then anybody who asks about, I don't know, I need some help on the foundation tier, I want it on multiplication and graphing inequalities, I've then been able to give them the link to that, and they can embed it within their team site. They can embed it within a maths one, they could do it in a curriculum, so they're embedding that within the curriculum area itself, because we all know when Ofsted come, they like to know, how do you embed maths and English within your curriculum? Or a better way within a team site to say, well, every team site that we have, every curriculum team site, there's maths resources in there for them to go and look at. We don't just expect maths and English to service them in that respect, dealing with the maths and English GCSEs or resits. So that was an easy way for me as a head of learning technology to be able to distribute that out to the masses. So I have got, I'm sort of very conscious of time. I think I've only got about 5 minutes or so left. I didn't know whether there's any questions, anyone open up the questions, or I can show you a couple of live screens just so you know that I'm not very good at, to show that I'm not brilliant at Photoshop, and I've been sort of dubbing things as we're going along. So I don't know if there's anybody got any questions, any thoughts. I know there's a couple of students who have access to the same with NCG. This can be controlled centrally. Yeah. Okay, Matt. Yes, it is. Sage, it is. We've moved everything over onto that, and I can't shout about it any louder, to be perfectly honest. It's been a revelation for us. How do you measure what has been accessed? So there's probably a part 2 to this. We've got access to the videos. What we're able to do is, I don't know if anybody is anybody aware of the Go One app that it makes an appearance in Teams? Because if not, there's a Go One app, and you can bring the videos into Go One. We're currently demoing that and testing it at the moment, because you can get some great analytics out of the back of it. That's where we're at the moment. We're very early stages of rolling out the videos to get people involved in it slowly but surely. Then once we start to get a bigger interest, we'll hear that across the board, because we have regular communities of practice across the colleges. They'll be asking for things to be laid out in a particular way. So within Go One, you can create courses. Those courses will have students assigned to them. And then if you attach them to a team site, it'll then provide you with analytics at the back. So the names that I can see at the moment that are in front of me, if Tammy's there, Matt's there, Emma's there, and Joe, if you were all in my class attached to the team, I'd know whether you had started, whether you'd started and finished, whether you'd started and passed, or whether you started and failed. So we're getting to that level of detail now. So I think that's where we're at. Yes, I think someone's answered the Wakelet is free bit. Yeah, it is. And if you've not used it, please use it. It's fantastic. I don't get paid for that, but I only ever speak the truth. It's a wonderful resource. That's how it Wakelet free. Thanks, can I set a call? Yeah, Sage, absolutely. You've probably got me information, me link somewhere. I'm on LinkedIn as well, so you can set up a call. Just give me a shout and I'll come back. Bev, thank you very much. Yes, it is. Lots of schools and colleges use it in really creative ways. A wonderful resource. We find the analytics and Go On hard work, because it seems to be a bit of a manual process. Perhaps we've missed something. It depends on what you click on, Heather, to be fair. We've looked at it. We get quite a lot of detail in it because we've created courses. So separate courses that are there will give you granular detail. So at least you can go down. If you do it for NCG, rather, there are thousands of students. If we do it at that level, it's like, ooh, far too much information. Whereas if you do it per course or per certificate that you can set up within there, you can get that particular group, and it makes it a lot easier. But happy to sort of talk through that later on if you want, Heather. That's fine. Brilliant, Sage. Good. I'll accept that connection later on. We link in Moodle into our teams. We did think about that, Helen. We went down that route, but we had a lot of people who were very wedded to Moodle, and what we wanted to do was move away from it, so and start afresh. But again, that was our decision. Each to their own, and then see where you go with that one. But it is a decision of your own. We severed the link with Moodle because of it being a little bit unpredictable, like jelly, unpredictable in its movements. Got that one. Maybe we can have a session on the Go One app analytics from Tim. If you app, yeah, Tony. Yes. I'll have to prepare that one, but by all means, if I'm invited back, I'll do that, no problem at all. And then thanks, Amy. I can see that smiley face. So the laughing emoji out of that, who knows? We're looking into doing this to use Connect. Oh, that's for Helen. That's not for me. That's fine. And then Helen's answered that with yes. Great. Right. I think it's 2 minutes. I think it was on 25 past. If there's anything else, if anybody else wants to, I guess we can contact separately, or for, again, like different sessions, or if you've got any questions, just please shout out. Thanks, Ian. I'll like that one. I'll have that.
You had no problem at all there following Activate, because you did a fantastic job. That was brilliant. Thanks,
Good,
Rob.
thank you.
I must admit, though, I'm slightly disappointed because I was really looking forward to you sharing your dodgy Photoshop attempts. So we'll save that for next time.
We'll save that. I'll put that in there, and I'll save that for the next time. That's something to look forward to, really.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Rob. And that's generated a load of chat there. So if you wouldn't mind, Rob, could you pop your contact details in the chat, just if you don't mind, because I'm sure lots of people like to get in touch with you. I know that some have added you on LinkedIn. So you've got a fan base now, basically.
Hey, look at that.
There we go. That's what we do at the BLC. Create fan bases.
Lovely. See, that's it.
All right.
Brilliant.
Thanks,
Thank you very much. Cheers, Amy.
Thank you. Cheers. And